ისთან ვიბრძოლებდი, აუცილებლად პადი, იმიტომ რომ დიდი ისტორია გვაკავშირებს. გონი რომ მაგ ბრძოლის ხილვა ყველას გსურს და ყველას გინდათ რომ მოხდეს ის, რასაც არ ვიტყვი ხმამაღლა. მეორე ისლამი და მესამე რავი.
Not excuse, always training.
What makes him so crazy?
It's not crazy, you know. This is like what his father did. But with his father, we can sit and talk, hey, coach, today I'm a little bit tired. Can I do something else? But with Khabib, it's not working.
Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett is officially in the works for 2026. Paddy Pimblett has signed the contract and claims Ilia Topuria hasn't yet. Paddy, why hasn't Ilia signed the contract yet?
Khabib Nurmagomedov is actively overseeing the training of Islam Makhachev and Umar Nurmagomedov as they prepare for their upcoming fights. He provides guidance and strategy, ensuring both fighters sharpen their skills and stay focused on their respective matchups.
Выше голову. Никто не останавливается. Выше голову. Отлично. Хорошие 5 раундов. Хорошие 5 раундов. Молодцы.
Dan Hooker admires Islam Makhachev for moving up to welterweight, something even Khabib Nurmagomedov never attempted, but warns that Jack Della Maddalena might be too big for him. He notes that JDM's size and strength could neutralize many of Islam's advantages, making the fight a much tougher challenge.
We'll see, man. He's himself, like, credit to Islam, like, doing something that even Khabib didn't dare to try, which is move up a weight class. He's got his own problems. Jack Della's that's a big boy. I've stood next to Jack Della a few times, and you could chop off one of his legs and he's still not going to make lightweight. Like, he is a legitimate welterweight problem, and that obviously takes away a lot of Islam's advantages by coming in there and being a big lightweight, being a strong lightweight. It kind of levels the playing field a bit.
Dan Hooker leans toward Jack Della Maddalena in the upcoming fight against Islam Makhachev. He explains that Islam showed in the Bilal Muhammad fight that he can handle strong wrestlers, but JDM is smart and knows wrestling can't be avoided. Fighters must engage directly, counter-wrestle, and sometimes initiate the wrestling themselves rather than just defending or avoiding it.
JDM to beat Islam in that fight next month?
I'd lean with it. He obviously showed that he's highly capable of fighting a wrestler in the Bilal fight, and that's a very strong wrestler in itself. Very similar opponent, and JDM is not. He's not. He's smart about it. He knows that you can't avoid the wrestling. You have to meet it head on. You have to lead the wrestling. You have to counter wrestle with them. I feel like gone are the times of guys trying to avoid wrestling. These guys, they've seen that it doesn't. They've seen that avoiding the wrestling doesn't work, or only being defensive with the wrestling doesn't work. You have to wrestle these guys or wrestle them first. That's the kind of method to the madness.
In another interview, Dan Hooker praised Islam Makhachev for moving up to welterweight to face Jack Della Maddalena, noting that the step earned him respect. He adds that even Khabib never attempted such a challenge in his career.
A huge ask for Islam, credit to him for stepping up to the plate and coming up to welterweight. He definitely got my respect for being able to move up a weight class and fight Jack Della. Like, it's something that even, the greatest lightweight of all time, Khabib, who never managed to chase that accomplishment in being a 2-division champion. So credit to him, but it's a huge ask. Obviously, we go with Jack.
Meanwhile, Daniel Dariush leans toward Jack Della Maddalena in the fight against Islam Makhachev. He explains that JDM's size and excellent cardio could make a difference, though he admits he could be wrong. Overall, Dariush feels inclined to favor JDM in the matchup.
Islam versus JDM. Do you still favor Islam in that matchup?
I'm going to lean now towards JDM. I feel like the size will make a difference. Cardio-wise, JDM has great cardio. Maybe I'm wrong, but so I just feel like JDM.
Daniel Dariush thinks Islam Makhachev could face face a tough challenge against Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 322. He highlights JDM's size and strong cardio as potential advantages and feels they might give Jack the edge, while acknowledging he could be wrong.
I'm wondering how that goes. Earlier on, I was leaning towards Islam Makhachev, and now I'm leaning towards JDM, but I don't know why.
Why are you leaning towards JDM now? Tell me, what is it?
I don't have a logical reason for it, but I've just been thinking more about it, bro. He is bigger, he's fast. It's not like he's a slow fighter. He's young. There's not a whole lot like in his game. He showed a whole different game. I've seen his old fights. If I watch just his old fights and not watch his most recent fight with Bilal, I would definitely be like, okay, Makhachev has this fight. But after watching him fight with Bilal, I think his chances of winning are a lot better.
And Gary believes that in the Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena fight, Jack would likely control these striking exchanges. But the key challenge lies in defending takedowns at UFC 322. He emphasizes Islam's elite grappling and lifelong training, noting that while Jack can succeed on the feet, consistently stopping takedowns over 5 rounds will determine the outcome.
The fight for me really is when Islam grabs a hold of Jack, how good has Jack improved? Because Islam is world class at that and has been for probably his entire life because of the way he trains and where he has come from. So can Jack stop that consistently like he did against Bilal? Because he did a phenomenal job against Bilal of stopping that. But can he do that against someone who's just cleaner, more technical? On the feet, I think Jack wins it cleanly. I think he'll jab, switching stances. He'll have a bit more fluidity due to the fact that Islam's not going to be changing stances so regularly. So I think Jack can do it on the feet, but the question mark is, can he stop the takedown consistently over 5 rounds?
Meanwhile, in Machado, Gary is also set to fight Bilal Muhammad UFC Qatar to get a step closer to the welterweight title shot. And Gary is fully focused on defeating Bilal Muhammad, aiming to prove decisively that he is at the top of the welterweight in the world. He says it doesn't matter who currently holds the belt, either Jack or Islam, because he intends to face both and believes nothing can stop him from becoming champion. Gary emphasizes that he's the future of the division and is on the verge of proving it.
I'm going to finish Bilal Muhammad. That's my goal. That is my single one focus of this fight, is I want to go out there and leave it unquestionable that I'm the single greatest welterweight walker on the planet, because they're going to be able to compare us over the last 7 days, right? From November 22nd to November 15th. They're going to be able to compare us all. I want everyone to say that I look the best. And whoever wins that belt, Jack or Islam, I don't mind. I really don't have any preference. I'm going to fight both of them eventually, I believe, because I believe both of them are going to be up and around the top of the division for a long time. I am going to fight them wherever, whenever, and I will punch a hole in their head, because there is nobody in this planet stopping me from getting that belt wrapped around my waist. We are this close, Ariel, to succeeding in that takeover part 2. I told the entire UFC fan base on the mic, I'm the future, I am inevitable, and I'm this close to proving.
Oh, man.
And Gary highlights Bilal Muhammad's accomplishments, noting that he has knocked out Sean Brady and dominated Leon Edwards. He says that beating Muhammad would clearly justify a title shot, and adds that if he finishes a former champion and current #1 contender faster than Jack Della Maddalena could, it will be indisputable that he deserves a shot at the world title.
Bilal has knocked out #2 in Sean Brady, and he has smashed #3 in Leon Edwards. So when you smoke Bilal, it's obvious what comes next. Now, if I go out there and do that to Sean Brady, someone can have that argument, oh, but you haven't beat this guy, and someone else, and I didn't want any of that. So for me, it actually works out better, Ariel, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Have you been told, though, you beat Bilal, you're next?
When you knock out #1 in the world, there is nothing else. When you knock out a former champion and who's #1 in the world right now, and you smash him in less rounds than JDM could, then that's all that matters to me. I know I'm getting a world title fight after this.
And Gary also revealed he was originally scheduled to face Sean Brady at UFC Vancouver. He explained that both fighters had agreed to the matchup, but it never happened. Gary realized the fight was off when he saw that Rainier de Ritter versus Fluffy Hernandez had been announced as the main event for the card.
I saw your video on your Instagram right after the news came out, and you said you wanted it to be a #1 contender fight, and once they couldn't guarantee that, you changed direction. Is that accurate?
No, I wanted to be publicly announced that it was a #1 contender fight. If you're look, me and Sean Brady, you said it yourself at the start of the show that was the fight to make, and the winner of that goes to the world title. I don't disagree with you at all. I think that makes a lot of sense. However, there was a guy, I said to the UFC, there was like, when you've got someone, personally, I wanted no excuses. I wanted no one to be able to jump the ladder because of any excuses. So from my point of view, I sought after a fight with Bilal first.
However, let's get back to our main topic, as Jack Della Maddalena is openly challenging Islam to hand him a defeat in his debut welterweight fight. Jack Della Maddalena expressed his determination to defeat Islam Makhachev, stating that his goal is not only personal but also for his team. He emphasized that he wants to challenge Makhachev's momentum following wins over fighters like Alexander Volkanovski and Dan Hooker.
Islam Makhachev has had some success against our Anzac fighters, Alexander Volkanovski, Dan Hooker. We're hoping that it will not be a three-peat of fighters in our region.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gunning for it, I really want to, obviously just for myself, but yeah, I want to get that win, I'm gonna get it back for the team.
Colby Covington believes Islam Makhachev holds the advantage over Jack Della Maddalena. He notes that despite moving up from lightweight, Islam's complete skill set makes him a serious threat. Covington adds that securing takedowns and controlling the fight would give Makhachev a clear path to victory, making him the likely winner even with the size difference.
Islam versus JDM. What do you make of that? Islam moving up to now welterweight.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to see how it goes. Islam, is a lightweight. He's going to be a little smaller in the fight, but he's a well-rounded fighter. So, if he's able to take down JDM and control him, he could definitely get the job done. But it's going to be interesting to see how the size advantage plays a difference in the fight.
Who do you favor?
I mean, I seen the odds were pretty big. They favored Makhachev like 3-1. So I guess I got to go with the odds if they're going 3-1. But just because JDM doesn't have good takedown defense, but you never know. It's a fight, and JDM has some good hands, so it should be an exciting fight for the fans.
On the contrary, Michael Bisping feels Jack Della Maddalena has a legitimate chance to shock the world at UFC 322. He highlights Jack's size, precise striking, and strong takedown defense as key advantages that could give Islam Makhachev trouble. Bisping adds that Jack appears to be in peak form and sees a real possibility of him leaving the fight victorious.
So Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, that has been announced. But I'll tell you what, Jack Della Maddalena is bigger. He showed that he can stop takedowns. On the feet, there's absolutely no question. Jack Della Maddalena is on another level. He's probably got the best, cleanest boxing in the UFC. It wouldn't surprise me if we see an upset here and Jack Della Maddalena is still the champion at the end of the day.
Nick Barnhill believes Jack Della Maddalena's style could present the first true challenge Islam Makhachev has faced in the UFC. He notes that Islam's dominance at lightweight is sometimes underestimated, not due to a lack of skill, but because Khabib Nurmagomedov set such a high standard. Barnhill adds that Makhachev's title run has often been disrupted by opponent withdrawals and short-notice replacements, which made his reign appear less impressive than it actually is.
I really think that Jack Della Maddalena has the perfect style to combat Islam and moreover give us what we've wanted out of an Islam Makhachev fight for years now, which is a competitive fight.
Yeah.
Islam, it was really unfortunate for him because his entire legacy as 155 champion is a bit tarnished, and it's not from anything he did, but because of our expectations and how good he is and the footprint that Khabib laid and then he had to follow, it felt very quickly that once he got the belt, there was a big gap in skill between him and everybody else. And then with a couple things like fallouts happening, Arman Sarukian, pulling out like a day before the event, him having to fight Renato Moicano instead, all of those types of things made Islam's career at 155 feel diminished and not as epic as it truly was. So this to me is exactly where Islam needed to go with his career if he wanted to get the respect and the legacy that he's been trying to build since he, had dreams of the UFC.
However, Merab Dvalishvili expresses confidence that Islam Makhachev can capture a second belt by defeating Jack Della Maddalena. He acknowledges JDM's striking but highlights Makhachev's intelligence and adaptability. Merab expects Islam to apply lessons from Bilal Muhammad's fight and adjust his strategy, believing that despite the challenge, Makhachev will prevail and become a two-division champion.
You mentioned Islam. He's moving up to 170. Do you think that he gets the job done and wins that title, or do you think JDM retains?
It's gonna be hard for him, but it's possible to
Islam Makhachev wins the second belt. JDM is great fighter, great striker, but Islam is tricky. He has a good wrestling, and he's southpaw. He don't get hits, but he takes people down and he mauls people down. So, and also we all see the JDM Belal Muhammad's fight, and then I'm sure Islam will take lots of lessons from this fight, and maybe Islam will make some adjustment. It's possible. It's gonna be hard, but Islam can win the second belt.
Furthermore, Robert Whittaker acknowledges that Jack Della Maddalena has the tools to challenge Islam Makhachev, though he still favors Makhachev to win. He highlights Jack's size, strong grappling, and unpredictable striking as potential threats. Whittaker adds that Jack's takedown defense, precise boxing, and punishing body shots from unorthodox angles make him dangerous in every exchange.
Why does he beat Islam in your opinion?
I'm biased as heck.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can see the fight playing out very much like it did with Volk, okay? But Jack's bigger. Jack's he's a little bigger. He's got a different frame. He's a hard dude to try and hold down. And I think his jiu-jitsu is very underrated. He has good jiu-jitsu, which means it won't be free. The takedowns won't be free. Being on top of him won't be free. Not to mention, Jack has really good hands, and if he can keep it into that mid range, into that distance that he likes, make it awkward. He's very good at not only punching straight lines but punching up. So his hooks, his uppercuts, he mixes it really well. He works the body, which makes it harder to shoot on. You know, I think there's enough angles there to give Islam trouble.
On the other hand, Islam Makhachev's coach Javier Mendez warns Jack Della Maddalena not to underestimate Islam's striking. He explains that if Jack enters the fight thinking it will be easy, he will quickly realize it's a completely different challenge. Mendez stresses that no striker has an easy time with Islam, and once the fight begins, everything feels very different from the outside.
JDM did an interview just, I think, this week, and he broke down that he believes Islam's stand-up is a little bit easier to deal with than Bilal's, because Islam has more of a traditional style for his stand-up. Do you feel like people are kind of missing some of the X factors that Islam brings with his striking?
If he's saying that, I hope that he goes in believing that, because when he gets in there with Islam, you're going to find out a whole different story, because I'm sorry, they're completely different. And by no means is Islam an easy for anybody to understand. Any MMA fighter that's a striker that's not going to have an easy time with him. I've been with this kid like going on 11 years of watching him just destroy everybody on the stand-up, guys that are much better stand-up than him, and he still destroys them. So no, don't go by what you see. When you get in there with that man, it's a whole different ballgame.
Moreover, Javier Mendez also admires Jack Della Maddalena's striking is dangerous and versatile. He points out that JDM can hurt opponents with punches, kicks, knees, or uppercuts, and emphasizes that the longer the fight stays standing, the greater the risk for anyone facing him.
How do you rate JDM's striking? And how do you feel like they match up with Islam's striking?
His striking is very, very good. It's very diverse, and he's very powerful with every strike. I mean, he can hurt you with anything. He can hurt you with a kick, a knee, a left hook, right hand, right uppercut, left hook, you name it. The guy's got the total arsenal to be able to put you down. So I am definitely fully aware of what he can do. And also, the longer it stands, there's always a good chance he's going to get hit, we're going to get hit. So the longer it stands, the worse it can get for somebody.
Terrence McKinney shares that fans are underestimating Islam Makhachev's strength and durability at welterweight without the weight cut. He expects Makhachev's grappling to be even more effective in the higher division and predicts a competitive 5-round battle, with Islam narrowly winning 3-2 to claim his second UFC title.
I think his chin's gonna be much better. He's not drained. I think he's gonna be stronger once he hits the ground. I think it's going to be a closer fight than people think, but I can see Islam definitely winning 3 rounds to 2. and becoming a double champ.
Meanwhile, Johnny Walker views Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight as an exciting new challenge. He praises Islam's calm mindset, determination, and precise technique, believing these qualities will allow him to handle bigger opponents effectively. Walker expects Makhachev to adapt quickly and keep his winning streak alive in the higher division.
Islam, he's going to be moving up to 170 from 155 to fight JDM for that title. Who do you favor in that fight?
I think Islam. Yeah, he's been a really tough fight and incredible technique for the last all his career, no? And I believe he still can get it. But as I said, it's a new division, new body type, new power, everything. He's moving up. It's a big testing for him, but I believe he can do good too.
And that's a wrap for today's video. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Share your predictions in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content.